So interesting is that this was a really dramatic thing to do, to stand up and to say in a way that might not even be legal, I need to be a circuit breaker in this process. I don't believe that the president is in full command of his decision making. At the time, remember, Nixon was deeply troubled by the Watergate investigations. He was drinking heavily. And so the people around the president, the people who are both immediately around him and then throughout the government, throughout the national security system, and throughout the foreign policy system, they are essential. These are the people who, day to day, keep the country safe. And we have learned what happens when we don't have capable, independent, strong people in those jobs.
A lot of people are concerned that President Trump is impulsive. He has access to nuclear weapons. He trusts his gut. He trusts his opinion. What if he decides impulsively to launch a nuclear weapon? Is there anybody to serve as a circuit breaker?
It's a strange thing to say, Terry, but we won't know until and if that moment happens, because the way that that a lot of these kinds of dramatic gestures have to happen in private. We didn't know at the time that James Schlesinger had given this order. We didn't know at the time that Melvin Laird had sought to try to prevent the president from deploying the nuclear arsenal in that way, or at least mobilizing it. But what we do know is that the White House has been moving quite systematically to try to remove people who might be an obstacle when the president tries to achieve his objectives.
No, you mentioned Nixon's madmen theory. Do you think Trump is operating on a similar theory in the sense that he always says he loves chaos, and he's created a lot of chaos nationally and internationally?
He has, and he has also talked about his love of unpredictability. He's said a number of times that he thinks it's a mistake for the United States to be predictable. He thinks that boxes us in, and it's harder for presidents to intimidate or to motivate other countries to comply. This is obviously at odds with what a lot of the national security establishment believes. What they say is that unpredictability is okay for small countries. If you're a small, weak country, it's fine to be unpredictable. It's how you keep big countries off balance. But if you're a big country like the United States, what you're trying to do is project authority and stability and consistency, and that's the way that you maintain your long-term power and influence. But Donald Trump disagrees.
Well, let's take a short break here and then we'll talk some more. If you're just joining us, my guest is Evan Osnos, a staff writer for The New Yorker. His new article is titled "Trump versus the Deep State: How the Administration's Loyalists